Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back. It's our day together again. That's right. That's right. Well, it's a mild day today. It's actually quite nice in the garage. It's nothing too crazy. But yeah, hope you guys had a nice weekend. I know it's been almost a week since the weekend, but I always ask. My weekend was okay. It was not bad actually. I enjoyed my weekend. Yeah, I did. Friday morning, I usually get up and make a nice big breakfast, and then I go to Marty's and have a stick with some of the guys there and the owner, which is Woody, and he's a good guy, and I always have a nice conversation with them. I was there till I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, and then I went home, took care of the dog and everything, and just chilled out. It was a nice Friday. It was nothing too crazy. I went and got a stick up at Aztec, and then went over to my club president's house and hung out with him and his son for a while. I haven't seen Eddie in a while, so that was really nice. That was a good Friday night. I enjoyed that a lot, and I came back and listened to some music and just kind of thought about a lot of things, and soaked in some beautiful thoughts. And then, Saturday morning comes, and I got up kind of early and I couldn't sleep anymore, so I get up and it's nice and quiet and cool and overcast. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And so I, start warming up my coffee, and then I let the dog out and do her little, her constitutionals, and then I go back in the kitchen and pour a cup, and I sit there just as my butt hits my chair. Yeah, right on time, 8:15 on a Saturday morning. Yeah, it's something I'm still struggling with. I don't know why that is okay. And I've had a conversation with the landlord, and he says that they actually received complaints for that time slot on another property, and now we're the lucky ones. I mean, if you're getting complaints, why even do Saturdays? That's my question. Why do Saturdays? Yeah, I know other landscapers. A friend of mine, he owns his own business, and they don't do Saturday because nobody wants to have that time slot because it's Saturday morning. Saturday and Sunday are, sure, not everybody has the same schedule, but a lot of people do. They want to have those mornings to themselves, nice and quiet, and not have the power tools disturb that. And that's fine, and I completely agree with that. But anyways, I says, okay. So I go around the apartment, I close all the windows because I don't want all this dust blowing into the windows. So I sit on the couch, and the night before I had rented a movie on YouTube. Now, anyone familiar with Strike Up the Band with Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney? 1940, MGM? Yeah. I love that movie, and I haven't seen it in a while. I love the musical numbers in that film. They're just wonderful. They're really good. And it's a very special film. Now, it's interesting because, Mickey Rooney was Mickey Rooney. He wasn't always the best person, I guess, personally. But I like his acting. I do. And he was one of the number one child actors of 1939. Him and Judy Garland were unstoppable. They were so hugely popular in 38, 39, 40. They were the it couple. Truly, they were. And that's important to understand, culturally speaking. But I love that movie. And so I was watching it Friday night after I got home from hanging out with Eddie and Link, and I had a cigar and a little drink with them on Friday evening, and got home right after 10, and I put that on, I started watching it, and I fell asleep. But, Saturday morning, I paid for a couple days, so I'm going to finish this movie. So I put it on. Sitting there drinking my coffee and just like, yeah, okay, cool, say what you will about Mickey Rooney, but he had some really nice fashion back in the late 30s, and beautiful sport coats and tweeds and really nice cuts. I mean, it's Hollywood, man. Come on. But anyway, so I was like, oh, yeah, this is okay. I'm just kind of drowning, blocking out the cacophony of lawn equipment behind me. And then all of a sudden the power goes out. That's it. Everything goes dark. So I text my neighbor. I'm like, hey, do you have power? And he's like, no, I ain't got no power. And I text another neighbor. No, I ain't got no power either. Great. Okay, why? So he says that he saw SCE, Southern California Edison, in the alleyway, and they're doing some work out there. I'm like, okay, well, it's always nice to get a courtesy email or text as a paying customer. They have my phone number. They could easily text their customers and say there's going to be a power outage. No, they didn't. So, yeah. I made some breakfast. I have a gas stove. I have a match. I can light a gas stove with a match. It's not a problem. I don't need an electric lighter. It is electric ignition on that stove, but I have a match and I can just turn the gas on and we're off to the races, So, power outage be damned. Anyway, I make some breakfast and have my coffee and then I get dressed. I felt like putting on a nice suit. I did. I went into the closet and I picked out this beautiful double-breasted herringbone suit. And it is absolutely exquisite, and I've had it since 1998. I've had it for 28 years. And it fits. It fits again, and it fits well. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to get the heck out of here. There's nothing for me to do at this apartment. Well, everything's noisy. I got no lights on. I got no TV. I got nothing. Thankfully, my phone had a full charge. So I get dressed, and I go out to the garage, and I take the Dodge out, and I put on some good music, and I'm driving out to Marty's. And I get to Marty's, and I walk in that door wearing that 40s suit with this hat. In fact, I was wearing this hat. And the guys just look around at me when I walk through the door, and they're like, whoa. Well, what's going on? It's a nice suit. A special occasion or something? I'm like, no, I just felt like I'm the special occasion. I'm treating myself because I fit this, and it fits well now. And I just felt like wearing a beautiful thing. And a lot of people today don't understand that those clothing from that era, they were tailored well. And they're made of natural fibers, and they're actually quite comfortable. A lot of dress-up clothes today are very uncomfortable. A lot of synthetics and horrible cuts. Don't get me started on modern suits and all the slim fits and all the butt-hugging seats and the tapered legs that are... do we want to have an army of Bozo the Clowns? I really think we do. I'm sorry. I see these guys with these tight pants and these tight-fitting jackets and their big, expensive shoes, and they just look ridiculous. It doesn't look expensive. It doesn't look cool. It looks ridiculous. But, here, I'm going to drop a picture of me in my 1940s double-breasted with my car from Saturday. I'll drop it right here. Now look at that. Drape. It hangs. It's nipped at the waist. It has nice shoulders. It has a drape. The fabric falls. You have a nice line. Come on. They have not made suits like this since the 50s. Now, granted, this suit's from early 40s, but you get the idea. That whole line of drape and cut hasn't existed since the early 50s. And it's really, really sad to see how far men's fashion has fallen away from what I would say is the zenith. In the 30s and 40s, men's fashion definitely was really hitting hard. very becoming and comfortable. Just because you wore a suit doesn't mean you have to be uncomfortable. That's a misnomer. And that happened when synthetics became more popular and more mainstream, and especially in the late 60s through the 70s, when fabrics and textiles became very inundated with polyester. So yeah, that's the problem. That's where we went awry. That's where we made the wrong turn at Albuquerque. But anyways, I'm not going to prattle on about fashion, but I wore that suit. And I felt good. And I sat there in that lounge talking with the guys wearing a suit that is as old as my automobile. An 85-year-old suit that looks almost as new, just as good as new. Beautiful double-breasted peak lapels, I just sat there and enjoyed a beautiful cigar. And it was a very nice experience. And I got compliments. And the guys got to see a little bit of my collection, because I usually just wear jeans and a t-shirt or, a button-up shirt or whatever. I'm very casual when I usually go to the lounge because, I don't want my stuff to smell like cigars for several days. Now, with a good natural fiber, it's not going to hold onto it for very long. Synthetics will. That's right. But I hung up that suit after wearing it, and it doesn't smell like cigars at all. Imagine. Anyway, thank you for that. I wanted to share my weekend with you guys because I actually had a very nice weekend, and I got a wonderful call on Saturday evening and talked to the lady, and yeah, always have a great conversation with her. That's right. She's doing well. Yeah. But anyway, had a nice weekend. Saw my father on Sunday. Shared a lunch, and he's doing good. He's doing all right. He's hanging in there, and can only imagine what it's like for him to be navigating this chapter of his life without my mom. Yeah. It's not easy, I can only imagine. It's hard enough for me to lose, or my brother and I to lose a mother, but to lose a wife, that's not something that is very easy to cope with. But he's doing well. He's doing good. He's staying busy and keeping occupied with a lot of things, and that's great. Anyways, I'm going to share something here that's very special to me. I've had this since last year, but there's something very unique about this piece, and you've all seen it. This is my 1B Royal SG&L. It's got the Mark Globe, of course. Yeah. It's got the Mark Globe. And this lantern is very special for many reasons. And I will share that after I light it. Where's the wick? There it is. I must have had this down really far, huh? Alright, there we go. Alright, that's nice. Now, I've had so many discussions with you guys about condition. And one of the reasons this thing is on the favorite list, and on the rare favorite list, is because it is rare. Now, 1B Royals, either of Dietz or SG&L, they're not very common. I would say most number 2 hot blast lanterns of the 1890s are quite hard to find. They're not easy to, they don't turn up that often. Now, are they as rare as some of the lanterns I have? No, I would say not. But this thing is a very special piece because of its condition. It's never been touched. And that's really the condition that I really, really like. And I know I've spoken about this at length. But when you look at this thing, and you see just a little bit of dirt and dark patina and all the charm of a lantern that's aged 130 years. And it sat somewhere. It came from John DeSimone from upstate New York, and he found it in a property and it was hanging on a nail in a barn. And when you look at something like that has been untouched for that long, I mean, and it was in a moisture-rich environment, and there's no rust on it. There's no rust on it. It was inside in a dark place, no rust. It was just perfectly preserved. Perfectly preserved. It doesn't leak. There's no leaks. I had done nothing to this lantern except for put the proper globe in it. It came with a unmarked glass number O style globe, which was nice, and I still have it somewhere around here. But when I put the Steam Gauge and Lantern Company marked globe in it, then I was like, well, I mean, there you go. I mean, this is really a special lantern. And currently, this is my only SGNL lantern. It is. I've had many. I've had several. But yeah, this thing is just definitely cool. And it's, you know me, I love that single wire guard style. With the square tubes, it's hard to not like that style. For me, it kind of is the style. It's kind of the look that I really like about the earlier tubulars. And this thing is like a Victor, but cooler. And what I mean by that, it has the same profile as a Dietz Victor, but as a number 2 burner, so it makes a little more light and heat. It's a little warm in here now. But the draft tube on these SGNLs are higher or taller than the Dietz. I used to have a Dietz Royal square tube, and it was a little shorter than that. But this definitely has a very tall center draft tube. SGNL did that. That was something that they kind of did. And it became kind of my identifying detail of SGNL. And you can tell when a lantern's SGNL or Dietz because of the length of the draft tube, and also most of the lanterns that SGNL made had a centered fuel cap. A lot of their models had centered fuel caps, while Dietz had offset fuel caps. That's right. Now, if we're talking about the OK tubular, you know, the tip back model, well, they all had offset fuel caps because they had a clip that's, you know, snaps down here. They don't apply. But their regular line of tubulars had a centered fuel cap for the most part through the 90s, while Dietz had an offset. And eventually, by 1899, then they were all centered. They stopped doing the offset fuel cap. I think since 98, actually. 98, they stopped doing this offset fuel cap. But yeah, prior to 98, Dietz had offset fuel caps in SGNL. Early on, I think they did that a little bit, but for the most part, they always had a centered fuel cap. And I mean, it's just little details like that kind of make up, you know, the interest, the differences, and everything. But yeah, this is a really cool piece. And I love burning it because it just has that age. It just really tells its history without saying anything. I mean, it can't. It's just a lantern. But yeah, you can look at all the different flaws and the way this is aged. I mean, you got some dents going on here, you know, and you got the tiger striping and the tin. You know, I love it when tin does that tiger striping. You know, it just looks really cool. It gives it a neat texture. And this thing just has that rustic 1890s, 19th century charm. And it's a beautiful flame. It burns very well. And see, I'm not burning it very high because I don't want to stress out the globe, because that's a $100+ globe now. SGNL clear globes are very hard to find now, and they're very expensive. You know, some people are paying $200 just for a clear globe. So, yeah, it's, you know, it's what it is. It is. But, yeah, this is definitely in the top 10. This is definitely a top 10 lantern for me. Top 10 favorites. And it burns very well, and I enjoy it often. Not often enough, though, but I do enjoy it, when I come out here and I sit in the alley and have a nice smoke and stuff like that. So I'm trying to, be accommodating to the environment. But yeah, I still enjoy my garage to some degree. It's not the same, but I'm doing what I can. But yeah, I'll set a table up at the threshold of the garage and set this thing on there and enjoy my evening. That's right. Yeah, well, SG&L 1B Royal. Not the most rarest lantern, but definitely not the most common. And it's getting harder to find them in this condition. I've seen them rusted. I've seen them, restored or e-tanked and cleaned up and everything. And sure, they can look nice. But this right here doesn't need anything. It absolutely doesn't need anything. It's beautiful and it's arrested decay. That's right. And since I'm out here in California, it's not rusting. It sits in here in the garage and it's not changed since I bought it. It hasn't done anything. It hasn't rusted. It hasn't done at all anything. It's just the same exactly the way it was when I got here. Yeah. So, yeah, we get a little, consumed with the idea of saving history. Sometimes we do more harm than good, I would think, but depending on your climate, naturally. Yeah. But yeah, it's just about leaving a historic piece the way it is sometimes. It really is. And if it's in this kind of condition, it's just a little dingy and just has a dark patina and a little dust, leave it. It's not rusty. It's not at all. Not rusty at all. It just has that dark gray aged tint to it. And it's beautiful. It is. Truly is. Well, friends, I hope that you enjoyed this video this week. Always enjoy making them for you guys. Now, we will be making some content, or we'll see. Friday night, tomorrow night, I'm going to be at Union Station. There's going to be an evening photo shoot. I'll be there. I'm going to be taking pictures of 3751. And I did this a year ago, and it's time for it again. It's now September once more. So I'll be there with some friends. Yeah, I sure will be. And be taking some fun pictures. And I'll be participating, of course. I know some of the crew members with the engine, and they've always extended an invite to me to participate and bring some friends for atmosphere. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Going to take the Dodge down to downtown LA. Maybe even stop by Philippe's and get a sandwich. Yeah, why not, right? Right there, might as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun night. But nighttime photo shoot, I may make some content and talk to some of the crew members about 3751 and do a little interview and maybe, well, of course, some video of the engine and maybe some other things. And we'll do another Santa Fe themed video in a week's time. So, yeah, I think we might do that. Okay? All right, guys. Well, you take care now, and we'll see you in a week. Thanks again for stopping by and always subscribing and leaving your comments. I always enjoy reading the comments, and I appreciate you guys. And keep a good old flame burning. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Sit, boo-boo, sit. Good dog.